if you don't know who Clinton Kane is, you're completely normal, because I didn't know who Clinton Kane was until like a couple weeks ago. I do think this podcast that I watch a lot called Do We Know Them did like talk about him like several weeks ago, if not several months ago, and he like was in one ear out the other. I was like, okay, ignorant person, who cares? Well. I am a chronically online person. Despite the fact that I do have a real job and theoretically am like an intellectual, I in fact am a loser. And so Clinton Kane has been once again in the like internet orbits because his ex-girlfriend has finally come out about the many horrible things he did while they were together. And don't worry, there's nothing like about this situation. It's mostly just like really cringe. Hello, Editing Sharri here. So I watched the whole canceled podcast episode on this topic with Tana Mojo and Brooke Schofield, Clinton Kane's ex, and I take it back. I do think that they put together very good evidence that Clinton Kane is a narcissistic abuser, in my opinion, allegedly, and that, quite frankly, for me, only makes it all the more correct to completely tear apart his music. So I hope you enjoy this video. Brooke, if you happen to be watching this, totally on your side. I hope you get better. I hope you've recovered from this relationship. Except he's not from Australia. He's not. He lied about that. He lied about that to a lot of people, including, I'm forgetting his name right now. It's going to be right here. But the podcaster, the music podcaster. And like lots of people, and he lied about lots of things in an insane way. And I think that that's really interesting, because I just like, why? I don't know. If you want the details, I'm gonna attach Do We Know Them's like recap on this situation and Angelica Ula's, I hope I pronounced her name right now, and Film Cooper's. Actually, Film Cooper's is really funny and there's really good analysis. I would really recommend his, but like on this situation. But yeah, so anyway, but he did all of this lying. He lied about his mother being dead. Yeah, and also like several people in his family just dying. And he faked an Australian accent for like 3 years. What? Crazy. Anyway, but the reason he did all of this was to like drum up attention for his music career, because I guess he didn't think his art was like good enough on its own. So I will be the judge of that. So today I'm gonna react to Clinton Kane's music. I don't have anything pulled up. Let's just go to YouTube. And we're gonna listen to a couple of his songs, if I can even find anything, because honestly the first things that come up about him are more commentary. This is the song that like supposedly everybody This YouTube channel is so chaotic. Okay, I guess we're gonna have to watch the music video. We'll figure it out how to do it without getting copyright striked, because that would just be unfortunate. The first thing I noticed that his sound is very like in his jaw. It is very. His sound is right here. I don't know how else to say that. And that I doubt is what his natural singing voice sounds like. It feels like a little bit of a technique. Almost as if you were going to filter your own voice, but just like inside internally, to do that, to make his voice sound like what a lot of the like pop boys sound like, because for whatever reason pop boys all seem to think that they sound hotter or cooler, that they sound hotter or cooler by I don't even know what it does, like, is that, like, masculinizing their voice? Because I don't really think that that's what it's doing. But sounding, like, they're trying to make themselves sound like Hozier is really the thing, is that they're all trying to sound like Hozier. But I think maybe it reads as passion to them. It doesn't to me. It does not to me. But I think to them it reads as passion. I think that's really interesting. I don't know what else to say to that, but I don't know that I particularly like it. I would also say I'm trying to think like what genre this is. the sort of, I mean, I guess it's singer-songwriter, right? The task where like you're telling a story with your lyrics, but it's also not country and it's not quite folk. But what is singer-songwriter? That's a video idea. I can like hear the tension in his jaw. I don't know why, and I do just like wonder what he would sound like if he just like relaxed. Remember how we were talking about how the Australian accent is fake? It's a choice to make his A sound like that. The afternoon. That's a choice, because most trained singers, tend to choose to slack back into an American accent. Editing Sharri here again. It's actually not slacking back, but pushing forward. Most vocalists push their voices forward into their mask, and it creates a ringier, or just like more full sounding and more resonant sound, which tends to align with an American accent because the American accent is placed very up front, which is why you often see British singers or Australian singers. If you look at like Adele or Harry Styles are really great examples of this. They tend to sing in what sound like American accents, and that's because this is the prevailing vocal technique. They're pushing their voices forward. So for Clinton Kane to be doing this afternoon kind of deal, he is intentionally pulling his voice back from the mask where he sings. But I also was just saying that he tends to sing like really tensed up in his jaw. So I'd be curious of whether or not he's actually ever taken a voice lesson, which is not all that uncommon for, I don't know if Clinton Kane would be considered an independent artist. I don't know if he has a record deal or whatever, but it's not all that uncommon for artists at this level. But yeah, that's why that's happening. That's not just his singing voice. Yeah. Which is like further back in your throat. So it's a choice to like affect his A sound so that it sounds like more Australian. Which like before before I might have just been like, oh, you want it to sound more like you. Fine. But now that we know that all of this is just to add to the like long string of lies. What am I supposed to do with that, Clinton? I notice a lot of things that I'm choosing not to say out loud because they're just mean. But I'm going to say this one out loud. First of all, why is this song called Chicken Tendies? Like, I really expected that to be something clever. It's not. It's just stupid. I can see why this song is, like mass appealing in a way. It does this interesting work of being very story-like, but all of the feelings are extremely generic. Extremely generic. There's no like specific, I did this and you responded in this specific way. It is just like, you're right, I didn't appreciate you enough, please take me back, or I'm sorry, you're right, get somebody who deserves you better. Which makes me think of just two things. The first being like, if you know, this is just like a question to men, if you know that the way you treat women is unacceptable, and that they should go on and get somebody else better, why do you continue to treat women in that way? Question. And now the second question, isn't this song supposed to be about his mom, supposedly? The thing is, like, it's like very clearly a lie. That was just like a marketing lie. The song is like clearly about a potential partner. The lines, there's like specific lines about like, I hope he treats you better. Like that's like clearly about a partner, right? Or it takes care of you better. Like that's I don't know. That's clearly about a partner. And I just think that like this music video is so lazy to me. It is. They're driving around somewhere in a car. I guess I don't know. It's probably South Beach. No, not South Beach. What's the LA version? The LA like rip-off version of South Beach. I'll put it here when I remember. I don't right now. And then this one girl who, even though I think this music video would have been filmed before he got with Brooke Schofield, I mean, the girl in the car does look shockingly a lot like Brooke Schofield. So. and like chasing her around and being like, every time you see like a wisp of that person, it just feels very unoriginal. And the song in general, like I could see why it would show up on like an Apple Music Heartbreak Highway playlist. But I don't know that it feels particularly special. Like that first line, I was like, oh, that feels very storybook, and then it devolved. Yeah, it's a nice song, but I don't know, it's like out of the park. I think I would normally try to be nicer to these people, but Clinton Kane's been lying to his audience for years, so I no longer care about his feelings. Okay, what's next? I actively don't like this one. This feels like it was written at a recording booth. It was written like at a what is that called? It was written at like a production station and not. I don't know. The lyrics do not feel intentional at all, and it feels so far like it's just like a collection of sounds put together. My insecurities don't make love to me, baby. My insecurities, comma, don't make love to me, baby. Does that make sense to anyone else? I'm tied up, don't make love to me, baby. I can't make sense of that. And I don't think it's me, I think it's the lyrics. I hope you understand what I mean by like when I said this sounds like it was written at it sounds like they took one of those rhyming journals. This is what songs sound like when people say that they're like you plugged a song into AI. They took a bunch of words that sound generally sad or sound generally passionate and then like flung them together. And then put like, this song was not written with any amount of intention because it just doesn't make any sense. I also don't understand the connection between the chorus and the verses. I feel like it could be just two different songs. In fact, specifically the beat on this tied up, don't make love to me. That doesn't make any sense at all. But this beat, I'm like, where did that come from? Why is this attaching this song? It doesn't make any sense to me. It's just the way I feel right now. Can't help the way I feel right now. See, this is what I mean. This is saying it's just the way I feel right now. But what is that feeling? What way do you feel? It's just the way I feel right now. Well, what is it's? That's in the same register. I don't believe that he's saying that. Not for a second. And you can hear the like digital, the like bzzz, like. Why add some weird element that doesn't do anything for your song? Like, it does not help tell the story of this song, which really doesn't tell the story at all, that you cannot do. Why did you add that? This one's making me mad. I was about to say something that doesn't belong on the internet. There's a type of guy, ladies, you know which guy I'm talking about. There's a type of guy who they get together with their buddies and they'll be like, Taylor Swift is so dumb. Billie Eilish is so dumb. Tate McRae's so dumb. I bet I could do that. And they start betting themselves to do something really stupid. This is how this song came to be. $100, $1,000. This is how this song came to be. Yeah. They were just all like, I bet I could write a song in 5 minutes. I bet I could write a pop song in 5 minutes and the girls would go crazy. Boys are stupid. Anyway, I'm not listening to the rest of this. How many songs until we've decided I've officially reacted enough to his videos? This one came out 9 days ago. Oh.
A CRM
is this 9 days ago? Is this the song that he was like lying lying on TikTok about Brooke Schofield? Okay. I don't know what it is. This is not just a male vocalist thing. I have a thing against male vocalists, okay? My very limited field of study is like CCM and like pop girlies. The reason I don't study male vocalists is because in general, I think most of them are highly mediocre. That's a topic for another video. But this isn't just a male vocalist thing, it's a pop thing. I don't know, it's like things when pop vocalists will pronounce me, May. And I just think, like, why did you change the vowel sound? Excuse me. Like, why did you change the vowel sound? It didn't help you. It's just sort of like a cultural thing that they all do. Because arguably, May is a harder vowel to sing than me, which allows you to be more supported. Your tongue is higher. So I don't, it just doesn't make any sense to me. And it's stuff like this, like somehow you sound more obscure and I'm using my dumb boy voice so much this video, but like somehow you sound more, this like idea that you sound more obscure and mysterious and passionate if you're not pronouncing all of your consonants. Like, no, it just makes you hard to understand. That's literally it. It just makes you hard to understand. His falsetto is not great. It feels really unsupported, and I just think if you can't sustain your falsetto, sing it lower. Yeah, I like this song more than the last one. The last one actually made me like angry. This one is this is like the pump up song. This beat has a specific purpose. This is the first or second song that you sing in a concert to liven up your crowd. I think that these lyrics are generally unspecific, but I could see the world where these are actually a set of feelings you wrote in a journal and now putting to music, and not just like random generalities that you're like, I'm gonna sing this now. I do still think it is. Again, I hate the criticism basic in general, but like it still feels less intentional. Yeah, it still feels like less intentional, and it doesn't feel particularly impactful because you are still just like repeating a set of emotions or a set of feelings or a set of actions or specifically a set of inactions instead of like being specific about what the feelings are and what happened. And yeah, it's fine. I can see why this would be appealing. I can see why this would be appealing. It is good, like generally good music, sure. But this is music written for a purpose, like it's written for a movie or it's written to be like the background at a convention or whatever. But I don't know, I would not spend time listening, or like you put it on a playlist so that it plays in the background while you're driving somewhere. But this isn't music I put on because I need to have an emotional like session, right? Not that all music needs to be that, but I just don't think that. Taylor Swift is quaking. You don't have to have a bridge. You don't have to have a bridge. But if your bridge is gonna just be, I don't want to let go. I don't know me without you. It's not musically or poetically interesting. It's not musically or poetically interesting. It makes it sound like your producer was like, bruh, we need a bridge. Like, we need to make the song more interesting, because he's right. It needed to be more interesting. This did not do it. Okay, so he's singing at the very top of his register. Sounds like he's screaming. And they pull the production way, way, way back. It's not quite a cappella because he probably wouldn't be able to stay on tune long enough to sustain it. So yeah, it's not quite a cappella, but like he pulls the production way back so that it sounds really passionate. And the moments like that, like if you're going to use music in this way, there's nothing wrong with that. But I think that moment deserves the weight that you are giving it. And if the best that you can come up with is, I don't want to live without you, I want to come back home to you, like that, really? Could you not come up with like a unique thought or emotion for that? Okay. I think we're done. It's just going to be the chorus again with his mediocre. Okay, I really would love to not watch another official video because I hate them. Ooh, this is a performance video. I don't know what that means. So this is from 4 years ago. Oh, no, no. Okay. Okay. This says, this is what anxiety feels like. Now, I am really good at having anxiety, so I'll be the judge of this, and I think this will hopefully be a live performance, so I can see what his voice sounds like without... Trying to keep my composure, but all I do is... This makes me deeply uncomfortable. Something about him staring straight at me, well, it makes me really uncomfortable. Like, I feel like I did not consent to this, so why are you doing that? Slowly start to realize that this is another thing that boy singer-songwriters do. It comes up often in CCM too, but like their S's turn into and I don't really understand why, unless every single male vocalist in this era has like a speech impediment, which I don't think is the case. It's like a cultural stylistic thing. It makes them like sound more like as belonging to this group, and I don't understand it. Yeah. I think he might be wearing a retainer. That might be why it sounds a little bit like that one. But at which point they'll like take your retainer out to fill the video. I don't know. Okay. As I suspected, this is not completely acoustic. It was confirmed for me when the harmony came in, because no, he's not like some special guy who can somehow sing two notes at once. And I did think that the guitar sounded too perfect. Yeah, so they have superseded in stuff from a studio into this sound. Okay. To be 100% honest, without looking at the lyrics, I'm really bad at listening to lyrics, so without seeing the lyrics, I can't speak necessarily to whether or not what kind of work the lyrics are doing. Okay, let's see. This is going to be the last one, I think. I don't want to watch this written songs. Feels actually really... Oh, maybe this one will be, like, passionate. I think I should say that as a genre, I don't know that I like music videos. Yeah. I think I'm realizing that now, that for the most part, I'm sort of like, I don't believe in separating the art from the artist. I think that's really stupid, because the art is the like sole expression of an artist. So you can't just be like, I'm going to appreciate what you wrote even though you're a terrible person. That's not how it works. Because that person's whole personhood is imbued into that art, okay? That said, I do believe that after a piece has been written, it can be allowed to float free and take on its own imaginings for fans, right? So even though, for example, I hate Matty Healy, and I hate that Taylor wrote a lot of songs about him on this last album. They mean something different for me than they do for her. And I think that is even true for her now, like, because she's singing Lover, who she wrote for Joe Alwyn, and is like pointing at, like she and Travis are like having cute moments in the stands, right? So, so I'd like to think of that. Why was I bringing that up when it came to Clinton Kane? Oh, yes. So I like to think about that. I think music videos make it harder to do that because it cements this idea of a song having a specific meaning. or a song being tied to one meaning, which I just don't like. And it's especially discursive if, like, when the music video for that song does different work than you have expected it to in your head. I also just think that sometimes it's done in ways that I'm like, for example, music for a sushi restaurant really completely made sense of that song. It actually helped you understand the meaning, the making of that song. I think that sometimes music videos are just there for the sake of, like, it would be cool to have a music video for this, or it would get a lot of views. And it means that there's not a lot of intention in them. For example, Chicken Tendies that we just watched, which is really just him riding around in a car all day and then seeing this girl. And none of the lyrics could have changed or the situation could have changed, and it wouldn't have made any difference to the meaning of the song. And I just think that that's really lazy. I hate the word lazy. It's really mid. Yeah. I hate this from a music video too, when there's no music to start it out. It's supposed to, like, add to the drama. Shut up. I like this one more. I can tell you exactly why I like it more. It's the bass guitar. That shit gets me every single time. Once it's not like the cheesy, I don't know, the cheesy soft stuff. Once it feels like it's gonna go, like, a little bit harder. I like that more. But I do also think he's being more specific with the lyrics right now. It says, when you wake up in the morning, this is what I do. I don't want you to take him and go to hell. I was really liking it until the final go to hell, because bed and hell don't rhyme. I'm sorry. It doesn't work. I know that he wants it to. It doesn't work. It's the same as, like, matches in the new version of Better Than Revenge. Like, matches doesn't rhyme. Yeah. I think it loses a little bit of that, like, specificity. Like, I really liked the, like, people are asking me what you did. What is that groaning? Is that my chair? I sold all of my, like, yellow dining chairs already, so I'm sitting on my office chair, which is the only chair that remains in my house other than, like, my couch. I actually really hate it. So if you live in Boston and you want it between now and September 1st, like, you could have it. That's so random. Anyway, yeah, I think I'm more convinced by this song, and I do think that that's the production. How long has that been on my face? Don't tell me. And I do think that that's the production, and I think it's because by foregrounding the music here, the music's doing a little bit more work so that the lyrics can take a step back. The lyrics are allowed to be more generic because it is just, like, trying to reframe anger. But I also do think that the lyrics are a little bit more specific, but maybe that's also because it is a lot easier to write about anger than it is to write about, like, hurt. And I can understand that there would be, like, a tendency to unspecify your hurt to protect yourself from feeling weak, versus anger is, like, a very big macho emotion, and it's very easy to understand. And even though the accusations are not specific, but it's sort of like, why were you loving someone else? That is a more specific than just, like, I already can't remember. Tied up. I'm tied up, don't make love to me. These, like, scenes where there's, like, a close-up shot of someone's body are making me deeply uncomfortable, and I don't understand what that's doing for the piece. I also like them being at a party and he's screaming. Like, is that just, like, an expression of rage for you? That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know. Maybe that makes sense to other people. I do think I like this one more than the last one I saw, the Chicken Tendies video, but I'm still, like, I don't know, like, is the closer shot supposed to be, like, an expression of lost intimacy? Because that's not what's being communicated to me. Maybe it would make more sense if she was with someone else, or if she was with you and then there's a scene of her being with someone else. But as it is, it's just sort of like you're showing off the female body so that you can. And then there's this like party scene, that first shot where he looks in and sees ex-partner and two others, and he's like feeling like that makes sense to me. But it's the next scene now where they're like dancing. I don't think that moment of silence, I was going to say, yeah, I don't think that moment of silence is as effective as he thinks it is. But all in all, I actually like this one a lot. I could really see me adding this to a playlist if it wasn't his music, because I'm on Brooke's side. Yeah, I think if he was gonna like lean into a direction, personally, I think that this direction makes way more sense than the like soft boy music era. Maybe he's trying to. Maybe lying on the internet about your ex is him trying to like drum up an asshole boy, I don't know, like brand. Maybe that works for some people. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. I don't think I was very nice, but I don't care, okay? I'm tired. I'm tired and I'm broke, so I don't need to be nice to... I'm not going to say that out loud. Click here to watch me react to another album full of breakup drama, The Eternal Sunshine by Ariana Grande, and click here... what is the last video that I just filmed? Click here to watch my review of Hit Me Hard and Soft. I was similarly chaotic and I'm still wearing this atrocious wig, so cool. Bye.